Frugal Force, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty. And today I want to talk about video games. Marvel vs. DC. Who has the best video games? Now, I'm going to tell you right up front, these are my choices. That doesn't mean that they're guaranteed, to be the best. So you make your decision. But these are my thoughts. And also I want to say, I've not played every superhero game. Now, you might go, well, then how can you make the choice? I've played a lot of them. But I don't have every single system available, so it makes it a little impossible. Just to the list I'm going to go with today. But the big thing is, I want to know what are your thoughts too as well. So I'm going to give my thoughts, and I want you to share yours in the comments or in the response video, whatever makes you happy. So shall we get to it? All right, so for the first decision, I kept myself some notes here so I don't screw this up. I want to talk about platformer games, okay? So this is a pretty wide variety, and it's really hard to go back and go to, for example, let's see here, in the PlayStation 2, another era where we have Batman, Arkham series. I'm putting Batman Arkham in that series. Once again, you might disagree with that. And then we have, the Arkham series was great. Both sides have some duds, Marvel and DC. But Marvel also has Spider-Man, and that's Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4. I've only got to play it a little bit, but it was absolutely fantastic. So for this category, wow, DC and Marvel both have some really good games. So I gave this one a tie. Wow, what a start, right? Starting right off with a tie. The next category I want to go with is retro. This is the retro from PlayStation 1 era on. That's what I'm talking about. So anything after PS1 and on, but still not current gen. So no PlayStation 4 or Xbox One games. And all these decisions, I have to say, were pretty tight. So I thought about this, and Marvel's probably grandstanding one on that one. The best one, for example, is none other than Spider-Man 2. That game gets all kinds of comments, compliments constantly for its excellence, in particular for the web slinging of that. So I'm going to give that one to none other than Spider-Man 2. But competing with that, we also had games like Hulk, The Ultimate Destruction for Marvel side too. So we had a lot of great Marvel ones, which really, we didn't have a lot of great DC ones that fit just a standard retro platformer. Now, I know there's other DC ones I'm not mentioning here, but, they had things like Superman. Yeah, and just didn't get real high ratings there for that mark. There was also some Batman ones too, like Batman Begins. Good games, but just didn't quite measure up. So this one for the retro PS1 and on general category, I'm going to give that one to Marvel. All right, the next one I'm going to go to is more of your RPG style games. And this is a tough one too, because there is some good ones, but I'm going to say I think it's pretty slanted. I got a lot of them lined up in here for PlayStation 2. I'm going to have to move Cap a little bit here, because the one I'm going to stand up and fight with right here is Justice League Heroes. Justice League Heroes is a pretty darn good fight game that's a RPG, where you build up your characters, make them better. You have 2 characters per level. You can play 2-player, fun game. But, and I say that the big but, Marvel beats it. Marvel beats it for a couple reasons. It had X-Men, and it also had the Ultimate Alliance series 1 and 2. Particularly probably 1, I think, is what edges it out. So I'm going to give this one to Marvel because of the Ultimate Alliance series. It really does eke out the RPG, type for this kind of console. And by the way, these are console games. I think this one series wins it out. So we're going to give that one to Marvel. All right, so next one we're going to talk about is just fight games. Yeah, there's a lot of fight games for both sides. I think this one was pretty heavily one side over the other. DC, a lot of people pick on this. I don't personally. I actually like the game, but unfortunately DC took a lot of heat for their fight game here. Marvel versus Mortal Kombat. It didn't get really a lot of like there. And I know it's a watered down Mortal Kombat, if you will. It didn't have the brutality, but it's because it had the Justice League in it and other DC heroes. I actually really liked it. Okay? So they had that, and I think that did great. But This is a big but. Marvel has the Marvel vs. Capcom series. Now, I know the last one really turned it out. Didn't do so well, but the Marvel vs. Capcom series makes it really good. Right? All right. So you think you'd know my answer now, that I'm going to give this one to Marvel, but no, I'm not, because we can't forget the Injustice series. Injustice 1 was absolutely fantastic, and Injustice 2 built even more on that. So for the fight one, I can't believe it, I'm giving this one to DC. I originally thought I was going to end up giving it to Marvel because of the great Marvel fight games, Marvel vs. Capcom, but the way that Injustice has came out swinging, I'm giving this one to DC. All right, the next category I'm going to go with is Lego games. So both sides have some great Lego games. You have Lego Avengers, Lego, Marvel superheroes. We have DC, where they have Batman and Batman 2, Batman 3, where they're getting all the Justice League. And I'm going to have to say this one, I'm giving this one a tie, because they both have a lot of great characters. The games are a load of fun. No matter what Lego, one of the superheroes you pick up, you just can't go wrong. Great, fun games. I recommend if you don't have them, get them. Play them with your family. Play them with your kids. That's the way they're the best. All right, grabbing my trusty list so I don't screw up. The next category I want to go to is retro pre-PlayStation 1 games. So this is before the PlayStation 1 existed. We're talking Atari, Spider-Man is on this. We're talking Spider-Man for PlayStation, Spider-Man 2 for PlayStation, The Incredible Hulk, the Pantheon Sega. Yeah, maybe I'll review that one sometime. Maximum Carnage, War of the Gems, whereas DC had some Batman games. And matter of fact, right here, speaking of Batman games, boom, this one, I absolutely loved this Batman game. This was an absolutely excellent Batman game. We have Superman 64. Ooh, yeah, that one's going to hurt DC a bit, isn't it? Because everyone knows Superman 64 receives one of the is like one of the worst games of all time, which I beat it. I beat Superman 64. We have the Adventures of Batman and Robin there. We have Batman Forever. We have Captain America and the Avengers, both on Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. I do give the edge, by the way, to the Genesis version of that. Both very good. We had Sega Genesis Spider-Man. Another really good game. Separation Anxiety, right? So we had a lot of good games there from Marvel from this era. Of course, though, we have the X-Men. Oh, the X-Men on the NES was just absolutely garbage. Dumpster fire material. Check it out, my video on that too. You'll see what I mean. But DC wasn't a slouch in that area too. We have Batman on the NES. Fantastic game. I really enjoyed playing that one through and beating it. Felt really good about beating that one. There's Batman Forever. Oof. Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned that one. I actually have that one hidden away over here in my collection. Because, Batman Forever is just, it's a bit of a stinker. It was harder than it needed to be, because they tried to make it fighting and things with like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat type, more Mortal Kombat than anything. In a platformer, it just didn't work. The graphics didn't work too well with the digital representation there. Overall, just not a good game. With that said, though, they had some other knockouts, like the Batman ones on the SNES, as I mentioned before, too. Also really good. So, it had Superman, which wasn't very good on the NES as well. So, this one, I'm definitely going to have to give the edge to Marvel. I think Marvel had more with the X-Men games and everything. I mean, I liked Justice League Task Force. I know a lot of people hated that game for a fighter. I actually liked it, but even with that, the edge, I have to say, easily goes to this one, to the Marvel games on this category. Which brings me to my last category for today that I want to talk about, is the more MMO kind of games that were out. Marvel jumped and put their toes into a few times, but really never did anything much with their MMO, whereas DC, I think, has really done it with their DC Universe Online. I tried both of them. I put more time in the DC Universe Online. I didn't put a ton of time in either one of them, but personally, the edge of that one is going to go to DC for me. So let's do the breakdown and look at how much, who won and who lost once again. I said, first of all, I went with the platformers. I gave it a tie, both Marvel and DC. Number two, retro PS1 games. and on, I gave it to Marvel. Then RPG games, I gave it to Marvel. For fight games, your one-on-one or three, that kind of thing, fight games, I gave it to DC. Lego games, I gave it a tie. Both great. Retro pre-PS1, I gave it to Marvel again. And the MMOs, I gave to DC. So that's my thoughts. I want to know what your thoughts are also. Not only tell me what your thoughts are for each category, who wins, Marvel or DC, but is there any other categories that I should include in this? Because I know there's other categories. There are other ways we could break it down. But let me know in the comments. Just don't tell me how stupid I am for my choices. I want to know your choices and why. So once again, if you want to leave that in the comments, give this video a like and a thumbs up if you don't mind. Also, we have a Patreon. If you want to help out in the info bar down below, just click on that and you can help out the Frugal Force for as little as $1 a month so we can keep getting these wonderful games like this and doing these reviews. It really does help. But if you don't like Patreon too, we have a link down there for Streamlabs OBS where you can click on that and you can donate through that too, so you don't have to worry about any of that hullabaloo there with if you're not a fan of Patreon. Alright, these videos would not be possible without you. So I want to say thank you to everyone so much. Thank you for your time. And until next time, keep it frugal.